Reddeos presents r/AskReddit. If you enjoy the video, show your support by commenting, liking and subscribing to the channel. Police officers of Reddit, what was your they could have gotten away with it if they had kept their mouth shut moment? I was asked to help keep peace while two probation officers searched a guy's house. Before everyone gets upset, in most jurisdictions, you have to submit to a search of your person and your home if you're on probation. During the search, a PO lifted the probationer's mattress and said monotonously, "Well." The probationer got upset and said, "Yeah, it's meth and a gun, arrest me, I don't give a." Turns out the PO found a huge, but after the guy opened his mouth, the PO lifted the mattress more and found a bunch of individually wrapped grams of meth and a Glock 17. The PO said that seeing there was enough for him to ignore the mattress, but because the guy said something, he kept looking. That's guy's attitude, and his need to open his mouth got him 10 years in prison. Former cop here. We always had a statement that we used if we ever got in trouble, and it applies to anyone. No poly, no waiver, no statement. Basically, never consent to take a polygraph. Never waive your rights and never make a statement. You may think you're doing yourself a favor by answering questions and trying to be helpful, but more often than not you'll end up digging your own grave. Be polite about it, but respectfully refuse anything until you've spoken to a lawyer. Pull over this guy for expired tags. Ask for his ID and he's feeling around for his wallet. Can't find it. He says, "Ah man, I'm one of you, it's cool." Oh, what department? Actually I'm a security guard, but same thing. I'm polite, so where's your ID? Oh, it's in the, and he motions to the trunk. It's in the trunk. My BS radar is going off. Okay, want to get you ID out of the trunk? Nah, I don't have it. He starts looking around for another story to use. But now I know I'm supposed to stay out of the trunk. He's also not giving me any more information. No ID, then I have to take you in and get you fingerprinted. I'm going to get into that trunk one way or another. He's looking like he's lost. I ask him what's in the trunk, but he's not talking anymore. We pull him out and get him in cuffs. Another officer takes him to get ID through fingerprints. Since his car is expired past 6 months, California, we tow the car. In the process of getting ready to tow the car, we need to take a quick inventory. In the trunk was a police uniform with fake patches and a metal badge. No gun, but a duty belt. He also has stacks of child. This is a guy who a neighboring city had been looking for months. His mo was to dress as a police officer, talk to kids, and you can figure out the rest. If he just gave me his name, I could have looked up his ID and verified he had one. I'd probably have let him go. But edit, the neighboring city had zero information as to his name. They only had a vague description of the car and the fact he was posing as a police officer. In fact, what he would do is start talking to a kid in the 9 to 12-year-old range. Tell him he has to be taken in for questioning, handcuff the kid, and take him to his car. He was a bad dude. Edit 2, I just found out about the platinum and gold and silver. I truly appreciate your generosity and I'm humbled and honored to be the recipient. Thanks for all the kind words. As an officer, we just don't hear enough of the thanks. But really, we knew that going in. Take care and stay safe. I'm a police officer in the UK. It was about 2 AM, which meant street lights were off. As I was patrolling, I saw a vehicle drive with only his side lights on. Spun around, pulled them over. I asked for his license and it's a provisional. His co-pilot was 20 and didn't have a license, and the vehicle didn't have L plates. This means he's driving otherwise than in accordance of his license, and also driving with no insurance, because as if he did have any insurance, driving otherwise than in accordance normally invalidates it. So, I got him in the back of my car to speak to him, start writing out a traffic ticket for no insurance, and was going to seize the car and let him off for driving otherwise in accordance. However, as I am writing the ticket, he says to me I shouldn't even be driving this car, my mate doesn't even know I took it. I just kinda pause, I'm sorry, what? Yeah, my mate lives just up the road and I was round his. He fell asleep, so I thought I'd just take the car and go for a ride. Right. I get another unit to go to the address, and the suspect's friend confirms he's not happy for him to be having the car, especially now that it's being seized. So now, instead of 6 points and a £200 fine and a off friend, he gets nicked for 2, taking a vehicle without the owner's consent, driving otherwise than in accordance of his license and for no insurance. He's been to court and received 6 points and just shy of £1,000 in fines and costs, as well as a off mate and spent a night in a cell. Edit, fixed the Americanisms. Not me but my dad. My dad was in an army helicopter unit assigned to local police to search for marijuana plants being grown in the rural parts of my state in the 1980s. One day, they found a decently sized gaggle of marijuana plants located just off the property of a farm. They landed the helicopter on the farm and talked to the farmer, asking him if he knew that someone was growing weed near his property. The farmer got scared and immediately confessed that they were his plants. He was arrested by the police. Oddly enough, if the farmer would have played dumb, the army and the police were just going to remove the weed and leave. He wouldn't have gotten away with it, but a patron of the bar that my sister worked at many years ago was stopped by the troopers while driving along next to the highway, in the ditch. His explanation: "Officer, I'm way too drunk to be on the road." Not a cop but a witness. During college, my friends and I would hang out outside and smoke hookah. Frequently we would invite strangers who passed by to join, or campus police would casually chat with us as they made their rounds. So one time a group of freshmen walk past and ask to join. After about 15 minutes the campus police car rolls up and the freshmen get visibly nervous. We tell them calm down, the cops are chill. As soon as the cop gets out of the car, one freshman bolts and makes it about 20 feet before the cop tackles him. We all clap and heckle the kid. Upon searching him, the cop finds a bunch of weed. Then he says, "You realize prior to running, I had no reason to be suspicious. I just wanted to talk to my friends over there." And points at us. The cop ends up writing a ticket and sends him off. No a police officer, but I do know of this house in my local village that was a notorious drug den. The police came to search the place but couldn't find anything. As they were leaving, the lovely owner yelled at them that they should have brought the drug dogs. So yeah, they came back a few days later with the drug-sniffing dogs and found huge amounts of drugs hidden away. Absolute morons. A cousin of a friend of mine travels around the state to take in deadbeat dads. Gets to one place, a 4-year-old kid is home, dad isn't. So the cop starts talking to the kid, making sure he's okay and such. After a bit of this, kid says to cop, "Want to see my dad's secret garden?" Takes him to a closet with a false back, opens it up to see a small pot farm. Guy gets home to a few cop cars and a few charges. I'm a nice guy, and I enjoy a chat. You'd be surprised how much this lowers someone's guard. Stood in full uniform, people will just start telling you things that could get them in trouble. Multiple times I had to tell people to shut up. It was usually petty things like where they hid their weed stash, that they'd got a bifter in their pocket for later. Not really worth the time and effort to deal with how cheesed we were. One time a guy really got himself in trouble by effectively telling me he had stolen property on him. I had to act on that one. Okay, so we had a DUI accident where a guy kept driving straight into the woods into a tree because his GPS was predicting a future street. He walked back to his hotel room and left his check-in papers in the car. So we go to the hotel and go to his room and knock on the door. He did not have to answer. But he did. He was pretty clearly drunk. I asked him if he had anything to drink since the accident. He did not have to answer, or he could have told us that he drank after the accident. He said, "No, I haven't had anything to drink since the accident. And where I'm from you have 24 hours to report a property damage only accident. So it wasn't even a hit and run." So as I'm locking the guy up, he tells me he's a lawyer. I told him I hope you're not a defense attorney. But in his defense, he was drunk. Deleted. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, like and subscribe.